All right, if West Virginia and Pitt wasn't a good enough matchup for you, then check this out. On Thursday night, we got a Big Ten conference opener here. Penn State going to West Lafayette, Indiana to take on Purdue. Seeing Penn State on the road against a pretty good team as 3.5 point favorites. Total is right around 53.5, 54. Seeing that 3.5 number, it's very fishy in my opinion. I'd be more inclined to side with Purdue here. The issue I have with them offensively is I know they got a really good passing game. I mean, Aiden O'Connell was terrific last year, almost 74% completion through the air. They're going to have a good passing game. I don't really have a doubt about that. I think the issue is they have no run game. I mean, each running back last year was below 4 yards per carry. I think Purdue is just kind of a one-trick pony, and facing off with it, I'm not particularly high on Penn State. I think they had a bad year last year. I mean, they went 7-6. And I didn't think they did all they could do to get better over the offseason. But with that being said, when you're as unbalanced as Purdue's going to be, it makes it pretty predictable. So that's the one thing I worry about with Purdue offensively. And plus, I do think Penn State's strength defensively is going to be that secondary. I just don't see that being a unit that's going to get torched. So I actually kind of like that, how Penn State matches up with Purdue. There's a reason that Jeff Brom has not been a championship level head coach yet. And it's because it's really hard to win in just that one style. And it really puts a lot of pressure on your passing game. With that being said, I'm not high on Sean Clifford. I think he's an extremely mediocre quarterback. The one thing he does have is experience, but this is a team that just couldn't run the football a year ago. I mean, you kind of have to feel bad for him. The offensive line was bad in the run game, and they just couldn't establish that run game. Even with a guy like Jahan Dotson, who is a true threat on the outside, that Penn State offense really, really underperformed last year. I mean, the hopes are high on the offensive line. They expect some young guys to emerge in that running back room, but I'm going to have to see it before I believe it. That's just kind of where I am on Penn State. I tend to lean with the fact that they probably go 8-4 this year, so I'm not particularly high on them. But once again, I do believe this line is trying to somewhat bait you to think psychologically, oh, I'm getting that 3 and a hook with Purdue at home. I mean, the over seems like it would make sense because Purdue is going to chuck it around, and Purdue defensively, while they were good up front last year, lost 2 key edge rushers, might not be able to affect Clifford and get after the passer like they would have been able to last year. But I think Purdue is good enough everywhere else. Sean Clifford throughout his career is just a tick above 60% and under 8 yards per attempt. So this idea that Sean Clifford is a difference-making player is false. The other thing, too, and this is kind of what I'm interested to see about Penn State, Sean Clifford used his legs a lot in 2019 and 2020. That wasn't a big part of his game last year. I think it should be. I think anytime you have a mobile quarterback, it kind of opens up the offense a little bit. If they can improve up front, and if they can establish some sort of ground game, I do think that makes Clifford's job easier. And once again, I just have concerns about kind of the one-trick pony nature of this Purdue offense. I'm going to lay off this game. I want to play Purdue. I just don't think it's the right side. That's really as simple as it gets. I'm going to stick with my belief that Penn State is going to underperform once again this year, but there's plenty of opportunities for them to falter throughout the year. I think part of this matchup is favorable. So I'm going to lay off this game. If you want to see my other game breakdowns here for week 1, subscribe to the channel, go to playlists. I'll say week 1 previews and predictions. Click on that playlist. It'll have all the other breakdowns there too. If you like the video today, feel free to leave a like. That helps the channel out a lot. And then comment your game prediction. If I'm off base, let me know. I can handle it. I don't think I am. We started off the year with a 1-0 week 0. Cashed that ticket on Illinois minus the 10.5. Last year in college football, hit a 55% clip and netted over 27 units. Feel even better about how I'm going to do this year. So appreciate y'all watching. Should be a great Thursday night game, but no play for me.